Welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play Podcast, your daily dose of strategies, insights, and action steps to grow your business and build your freedom. It's time to stop playing small and start making power plays.
All right. Well, hello and good morning. Welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play Podcast. Woo! Today, you're in for a treat because today's guest knows exactly what it takes to build a life and business that is sustainable and profitable because he's actually done this in more than one field. Dr. Bob Clark is who I'm talking about, and he's spent over 30 years running IVF labs, helping to create more than 30,000 babies while building his business on the side. Talking about overachiever, right? He also became a six-figure earner in both healthcare and online marketing and retired from healthcare in 2019, which was years ahead of his scheduled plan. So now, as the founder of the Part-Time Prosperity Tribe that he's founded, he is on a mission to help part-time entrepreneurs be able to reach their freedom goals without burnout. And his topic today is raise your floor. So I'm excited to hear about this because I also agree sometimes the fastest way to go higher is to stop letting yourself fall so low. So let's see Dr. Bob Clark take on this topic today. Hey, Bob.
What's up, Val? How's it going? Good to see you again.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, excited to have you back. So are you ready to rock and roll?
I am ready. Let's go.
Okay, perfect. I'm out of here.
All right. All right, gang. What's going on? How's it going today? So like Val said, today is going to be a really cool topic because what I want to try to do today is I want to try to shift your thinking around productivity and business success. We usually think about productivity as how much we get done, right? The more we get done, the more productive we are. But perhaps that's not always true. So the reason I brought up this topic is I was reading an article by, believe it or not, Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? The pump iron guy. And the article is called "Stop Chasing the Ceiling, Start Raising the Floor." And as I read this, it was really about weightlifting. But as I was reading this, it was like, man, so much of what he's talking about can apply to business. So I wanted to bring it to your attention today and maybe shift your paradigm, shift your mindset a little bit about productivity. So first, let's define what we mean by ceiling. A ceiling is your big goals, right? What we aspire to hit in our business, those big commission checks, the viral post, the record-breaking launch, right? Those are all ceilings that we aspire to. And most entrepreneurs focus on these. They focus on their ceiling because it's sexy to talk about it, right? And you should have these goals. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but the reality is these highlights, right? These ceilings don't build a business. The floor does. So what's the floor? The floor is, ready for this? The floor is the bare minimum you do even on those tough days. And we all have them, right? We all have those tough days when life just gets in the way of all our business plans. And so if you're there right now, no judgment, right? I've been there. Val's been there. We've all been there. Those really tough days where, despite all your great plans, life is in the way and you can't get anything done. It can be like things like illness, right? Your illness or maybe a family member's illness that just sets everything back. And listen, illness does take priority, right? But we're talking about business here. So illness, unplanned events, having to stay at work longer, kids' activities, the list goes on, right? And before you know it, it's bedtime and your head hits the pillow and you haven't done a thing for your business and you're beating yourself up, right? We've all been there. So again, if you're there, pay attention to the rest of this podcast because I got some help for you. Okay. I'm here to tell you if what you do for your business it's what you do for your business on those tough days that will dictate how fast you reach your success. It's not going to be the ceilings. It's not going to be the highlights. It's going to be what you do on those tough days, your floor. That will depend how fast you get success in your business. So if your floor is 0, you're always starting over, right? And if you miss a day, all of a sudden it's easy to miss 2 days, and then it's easy to miss a week and a month. And before you know it, getting back to it becomes harder and harder. Anybody ever been there? I've been there many times. So yeah. So if your floor is 0, you're going to be in trouble. In other words, you don't have any contingency plan for when you hit those tough days in your life. But if your floor is simple, if you have a simple plan, you can still move forward even on those days. So when I say a simple plan, I'm talking about like 1 or 2 things you do for your business every day, regardless of what else is happening in your life. Are there exceptions? Sure. Right? Death in the family, severe illness, of course. But in general, if you have a simple 1 to 2 thing list that you can put into play, regardless of what's happening in your world, you will be ahead of the game. So what kind of things am I talking about? Well, it depends on what kind of business model you have. For example, if you're in network marketing, it might be, okay, I'm going to meet 2 new people every single day. Diane Hockman, one of my mentors from a while back, she used to always say to me, like, meet 2 people, meet 2 people, meet 2 people. And it got drilled into my head where, that's one of the things that you can do pretty fast, especially with social media, right? You can do it pretty fast. But it will grow your business exponentially if you do it consistently. So what else? Posting once a day on social, if you're posting something about business. Sending maybe 2 emails a week. 10 minutes of learning, if that's what you want to do. But it's the non-negotiables, right? It's the things you do every day, regardless of what's happening in your life. So like Val said, I was in healthcare. I worked really hard, and some days I would work, 12, 13, 14-hour days, which meant there wasn't a whole lot of time left over to do my business. And there were days, I'm going to be honest with you, there were days I'd get home, I'd be like, oh, I'm too tired, I can't do this. And I'd miss my day for business. And I did really because I didn't have the knowledge that I'm sharing with you today. I didn't have a floor plan, right? I didn't have a plan for my floor. I didn't have it kind of mapped out. So my default was to do nothing. I'm too tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to go to sleep. And I did. So we all slip. It's normal. But I did have a hard and fast rule. Never miss twice. And that's kind of a key, right? Everybody misses once, but the successful marketers, they don't miss twice, right? They don't. And I adopted that after a while, realizing how important it was. So if you miss one day, it's not so hard to come back the next day. But if you miss 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, it gets harder and harder and harder and harder to come back to get back into your business, right? You're like, where do I even start now? So struggling entrepreneurs miss their floor often. And that's one of the reasons they struggle. Okay, let's get a drink here. We're in a rainy season here in Florida, and got a lot of mold, and I'm allergic to mold. So my allergies have been kicking up a storm. So sorry if I'm a little raspy here. Okay, let's talk about, because this topic of this is raise the floor. So let's talk about this concept of raising the floor. So what if instead of your floor being meet 2 people, you raise it to 3? Doesn't seem like that big a deal, right? But that would be 7 extra people a week, right? 30 extra people a month, and you can do the math, right? It adds up. And then what if you increase it to 4 or even 5? Wow, right? And you're saying, well, I don't have time for that. Okay, but what if you didn't need any extra time? What if you didn't need any extra time to meet 2 people versus 5? Well, if you ever read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, there's a story in there that to me, it made so much sense and it really applied to my business. So he has a story in there that there was a guy, and I don't know if I'll say this exactly right, I'm paraphrasing it, but so there was a guy who was so out of shape. He was so out of shape. And what he really wanted to do is he really wanted to get into shape, and he wanted to participate in some, I don't know, some physical fitness thing he was aspiring to get into, right? Contest or something. But he was so out of shape that all he could really do was one push-up. And so he made a goal for himself, a floor, if you will, to do one push-up every day, just one. It would take him what? 5 seconds, 10 seconds? Let's say 10 seconds to do one push-up. And it was so easy that it was hard to miss, right? I mean, who doesn't have 15 seconds in a day to do one push-up? So he did this, and he did it consistently. And after a while, he realized that in those same 15 seconds, he could now do 2 push-ups. Why? It's getting stronger, right? Becoming a habit. His muscles were getting stronger, muscle memory, right? Muscle strength. And now he could do 2. And then after another few months, he realized he could do 3 in 15 seconds. You get where I'm going here, right? You can often do more in the same amount of time as you perfect your skill. So if you're meeting 2 people in 30 minutes, let's say, that it might take you 30 minutes to find a couple people to start a conversation, to kind of keep the conversation going and to kind of get to know them a little bit. It might take you 30 seconds. But as you do it more and more and more, now all of a sudden you realize it only takes me 10 minutes to do 1. Now I can do 3 in 30 minutes. That's my new floor. I can do 3. And then you can do 4. Then you can do 5. So you can raise your floor without having to spend any more time that you may not have on your business. And that's really the biggest concept that I wanted to give you today, is that raising your floor may not seem like a lot, but if you raise it even a little bit, right? 2 people to 3 people, 3 people to 4 people, even that small jump over time can really result in a huge difference in your business. And do the math. You can see it. It's crazy. So let's think about this. Where do you start? We're going to wrap this up. Where do you start with this? Well, you start with 1 push-up, right? You set your floor. What is your floor? And it's going to be different for everybody. Like I said, if you're a network marketer, your floor could be, I want to meet 1 new person every day. At least one person every day. And maybe that's all you can do. If you're an affiliate marketer, maybe you say, okay, I want to make at least 1 offer a day, some kind of offer. But you have to figure out what your floor is going to be, and then set it in concrete, right? Set it in concrete, like this is what I do every day, no matter what's happening in my life. Okay? And I would bet if you do that, 99% of the time, you'll be able to hit it, because it's not that hard, right? Who doesn't have 15 minutes every day? But there will be days where you'll miss it. It's life. So in those days where you miss it, don't miss twice, right? Don't miss twice. And then gradually, right, now that you've set your floor, as you've been doing it for a while, work on raising it, right? Do 2 instead of 1. Do 3 instead of 2. Raise it just a little bit and watch what happens. Watch what happens. So maybe productivity isn't all about how much you get done, but it's more to do with how many days in a row you do it. Kind of goes against what we think, right? So I will tell you from my experience that consistency trumps hustle all day long. Just does. Hustle will eventually burn you out. Consistency is sustainable, and it's especially important for those who are like me, who have limited time. So I'll talk more about consistency in the next podcast episode that I do. But for now, here's your quick win. We always want to give you a quick win in these podcasts. So here's yours. Establish your floor. Take 15 minutes today. Think about your business and think about what could you do every day without fail, right? Where you wouldn't miss a day or very rarely miss a day that would help you grow your business. Again, maybe meeting one person, maybe writing one post on social media, maybe writing to your email list or maybe contributing to an email. Maybe you don't get the whole email done, but you contribute to it. Maybe you make an offer to somebody. Maybe that's your one thing. And set your floor. And if you do that, you've won. Because now you have a plan for the tough days. And I'm going to tell you right now, most people don't have a plan for those days where life takes over. They don't. They just pack it up and they say, I'll do it tomorrow. And then that becomes however long it does, right? Which is why I think why struggling entrepreneurs struggle so much, because most of them don't have a plan. Your successful entrepreneurs, those people who are out there, the leaders out there, Val, me, everybody else, we have a plan for our floor. We know what we're going to do on those days where life gets in the way. And that's why we win ultimately, because it's not the huge affiliate checks, right? It's not the big webinars, the big launches, right? It's not that stuff. It's the stuff that happens that nobody sees on the days where you don't feel like doing it. So I hope you got a lot out of this today, Val. I'm done here. So I think I hope people got a lot out of this today.
Oh, shoot. There we go. Yeah, I definitely got a lot out of it. So I'm sure everybody else did or does, depending on if they're watching the live or the replay. So I hadn't really thought about it like that before, but we actually do this inside the Profitpreneur. When you mentioned having that contingency plan, that's really important because, life happens to all of us. So when you have something that comes up, we can't allow that to be the barrier or the excuse that keeps us from doing what we know is a part of our mission in life. That's how I look at a business. My business is a part of what I do. That is my purpose. So I can't let anybody stop that. Yeah. I can't let the circumstances stop that. And there's actually inside of our membership, you guys, there is a contingency plan already. There's a template. So you can decide and you can set these standards for yourself, because you really can't expect, especially if you're a network marketer and you're building a team, you can't really expect folks to do things that you won't even do and you're leading them.
Yeah. And the word you use there is so important, plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people, when they get hit by life, if they get 10 minutes free time, their first thought is, oh, shoot, what should I do?
Yeah.
And then the minute you go down that rabbit hole, you're probably lost because you lose your 10 minutes just thinking about what to do.
Exactly.
So if you have a plan in place, okay, I got 10 minutes, I'm going to go meet one person or I'm going to write an email or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I found is most successful because I went through a good few years with no plan. I was just reactive to everything that was happening around me.
Yep.
And, with my schedule, sometimes it got really tough.
Yeah.
So I learned quickly that if I didn't have a plan, I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. All right. Well, Bob, thank you so much once again. And listen, you guys, the truth is it's not always so much about raising the ceiling. Sometimes we need to raise that floor. So when you commit to never dropping below the standards that you set for yourself, right? Whether it's your income or your consistency or even working on your skill set, your confidence will all start to compound. And these are the types of things that help you to become more consistent. So like I said, inside the Profitpreneur membership, we will actually help you raise your floor with systems and training and accountability that keep you from slipping back into old patterns. So you'll see inside the description box, you've got Bob's link there. Go ahead and click on that and join us here. You have a 14-day free trial to start you off. So you get a chance to kind of explore. And listen, your lowest level doesn't have to stay low. You can raise that floor. Matter of fact, Bob, it's very interesting. My topic tomorrow is going to piggyback a little bit off what you talked about today. So that's cool.
Nice. That's awesome. I love it when that happens.
Yeah. All right, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And we will see you back here, same time, same channel tomorrow.
Bye, guys.